Hey folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Mouse Guard Winter 1152 by Archaia. Now there is killing, fighting, blood, a really big owl, betrayal, poisoning, and dark, scary tunnels in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, now I won't leave a picture because David Petersen did both the art and the story and the story in this one, and essentially nothing else appearing. If you want to find out what happened in the first, I forgot to say, this is the second volume in the Mouse Guard series, trilogy. Yeah, let's just say series. In the Mouse Guard series, if you want to find out what happened in the first one, at the end of the video, I'll leave a link in the square thing for it, so you can go watch that there. Alright, now, let's get to this one. So this is, I'm not sure exactly how much time has passed between the first one and the first volume. In this one, maybe a few weeks. But anyway, in that one, it was winter. And in this one, in that one, it was fall. And in this one, it's winter. Now, because of what happened in the first volume, now the Mouse Guard, where they, their fort, where they're stationed, is a place called Lockhaven. So, Lockhaven is has a shortage of food and medication, which are two things they really need to survive the winter. So Gwendolyn, who's the matriarch of the Mouse Guard, has sent her guard to the other cities, and not faculties, factions. Let's just call them the other cities. To the other cities to buy food and medication from them, as much as they can give them. And so there's I think 4 groups of Mouse Guard. 4 groups of guards going. Now we are with our group of all the characters from the first one. So we have the 3 the main heroes. There's Liam. Then there's Saxon. He's a brownish mouse, and he has a red cape, a red piece of fabric. And then there's I called him Kanzif in the first video by accident. I don't know where the hell I saw an F in the name, but it's Kanzi, not Kanzif. So Kanzi is a gray mouse, and he has a blue sort of cape hood. Yeah, a blue cape. And this is, now I know how to pronounce his name. This is Kalina. And there's also Sadie. She was also in the first one. So they are one group. They go to the city where the mice are. They're mice of science. They invent things. It's actually a very cool place. So I can show you at the end when I get to the art. So they are there. They're buying some medication. It looks like at least that city, they also don't have much to spare. They buy as much as they can, and they also invite the head of the city, let's call that the leader, to Lockhaven for a summit. It was a summit, to this meeting, all of the leaders of the cities. Gwendolyn's inviting them. They're going to be escorted by Heras to Lockhaven. So our little group buys what they can, and then they start to make their way towards Lockhaven. Another one of the mice from the first volume, Rand, has been injured, and currently he really needs medication in order to survive. So they have to get there as soon as they possibly can, because they're not sure what will be with Rand. He's being treated by a healer, and Gwendolyn goes to check on him as well. So as our group makes their way, there's a Kalina notices as they're discussing what to do, a big owl is behind them, and he wants to, fly and grab them to eat. Sadie, with her slingshot, with her sling, she throws some rocks at it, one in warning, and then the other one she hits him right in the eye. Him or her right in the eye. And I assume she inadvertently damages it. Because it's, for the rest, that's it. Till the end of the story, it's red. So I'm assuming she, I don't know, poked it out. Anyhow, the owl flies away, and they continue to go, but Saxon trips on a branch that's sticking out. He falls, and so do Kanzi and Sadie, and the snow that's beneath them just crumbles, and they fall into a big hole. No, not a hole. They fall into a tunnel. A tunnel that used to belong to weasels. They see a sign there. So it's obvious that they don't have anything that'll help the three climb out. Kalina and Liam cannot help them, so they make a decision to split. Kalina and Liam are going to continue their way to Lockhaven to, as quickly as possible get the medication to Rand and to everyone else. And Sadie, Kanzi, and Saxon are going to make their way in the tunnel and find a way out. So that's what they do. They continue then to travel. Saxon and, Liam and Kalina, up on the ground. Above ground, and the other three below ground. Kanzi, so all over the place today. Kanzi, Saxon, and Sadie find that, like I said, the tunnel was belonged to weasels. There used to be a war there that a lot of mice went to and never returned. It's a place, I'll leave the name of the place up here on screen. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But it looks like maybe the weasels haven't really completely built it. Because they are known to take over and evict whatever species they conquer out of their home. So they keep going there. So Saxon sees these two statues and think they're live weasels, so he charges at them. It's quite funny. Anyway, they keep going and they see, a lot of the structure inside until they reach a room that is full of bats. The entire ceiling there is full of bats. And in the universe of the story, bats are kind of, outcasts almost, maybe, would be a good word for them. Because they say the creatures don't trust us, not mice or other creatures because of their wings, but then birds don't trust them because of their fur. So they can't win, essentially. Saxon angers them. He is like that. He's a brash and hot-tempered little guy. He's crude. He goes straight in. And they're attacked. They're attacked by the bats. Because Kanzi wanted to try to find a way to, calmly leave. They somewhat fight the bats, and Saxon jumps on one of them. And then Sadie manages to kill one of them by throwing one of her daggers, and the bat hits a part of the ceiling and it falls on him. So all the other bats with Saxon on one of them flee. And Sadie and Kanzi, they're like, Saxon? Uh-oh. Above ground, Liam and Kalina continue to make their way. Kalina, talks to Liam. It looks like they've gotten close in the time that they were together. They do have Liam falls into a stream. Poor guy, a poor mouse. Sorry. Anyway, they continue to make their journey. And then at one point it becomes impossible. It's raining icy water on them. So they make a hole inside the snow and hide in there because they won't be able to continue like this. They're starting to look like popsicles, all full of ice. Down below, simultaneously while this is happening down below, Saxon, the bats take him to this place, and above this hole where the weasels would throw their victims. And they tell him, you're about to die now. So Saxon's like, if I'm dying, I'm taking you with me. And he shoves his broken sword into the bat's neck. And both he and the bat fall into this hole. The bats, they're sure that both of them are dead. So they're like, we're going to fly our brother's soul up into the stars. And they all leave. Saxon, in the meantime, he survives. He's fine. He makes his way through where he fell. And he finds a lot of bones. I'm pretty sure mouse bones everywhere. In chains and cages, all the victims of that war. And as he continues to progress inside, he finds the skeleton of his mentor. I think it's his name was Lucas, or Lucas maybe. He recognizes him by what held escape together in the sword, and he begins to cry. That was who taught him to fight. So that was sad. Poor Saxon. Sadie and before that, Sadie and Kanzi keep looking for him. They call his name. Sadie makes a remark that she's sure because of how Saxon is, he's against lady mice being in the guard. That's an interesting comment because nothing so far from Saxon seems to really suggest that. I think there'd be signs. And then Kanzi laughs as he says, well, on the contrary. And that apparently Saxon has been in love with the mouse lady in the guard for quite a long time. And it's the only instance that Kanzi knows of where he's been subtle about something. Oh, sorry, what's up with my throat? That's the only instance he's been subtle. Anyway, they keep looking and, Sadie's like, are there any lady mice you have your eye on? And Kanzi's like, well, there's a lady mouse who could handle the life of a guard. And I'll show you later, and I love Sadie's expression. She's like, really? I'm right in front of you, my man. Back in Lock Heaven, Gwendolyn goes down to check on Rand, and she sees Abigail is not there, and then Rand says poison. So Abigail poisoned Rand. And so Gwendolyn orders all of Lock Heaven to be locked down and to look for Abigail. We go back to Liam and Kalina. They talk. They're like, how did you... Liam asks him, are you really, are you really the Black Axe? Have you really... are all these legends true? And Callan asks him, why ask me now after all this time we've been together? And Liam's been afraid that it was true and that it was not true. I was afraid of both of those. So they keep talking. I never noticed, but yeah, Liam has a scar, not scar. Like a cut here on his ear. I didn't notice that in the first one. Only after Kalina mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, right, he's missing a bit of his ear. How did that happen to him? Well, so they're sitting there in the hall. Saxon finds Kanzi and Sadie. They're snuggled up sleeping, after being so difficult to find Kanzi and to find Saxon. They grew tired. He and Saxon and Kanzi have a bit of an argument, Were you even looking for me? I see you've been snuggling up to a lady. And Sadie, while they're arguing, she goes up on the table and notices that the scraps look like they're 3 years old. The scraps of food. And then Kanzi realizes that he can now hear running water. So they follow the sound, and they see that there's a waterfall, a small one. Sadie climbs, and it's connected to a little river. So there might be a chance that they can get out of there. While that is happening, before that a bit, that everyone's looking for Abigail. Two mice find her. She's in the room where there's a well where they get their water. And we find out that she was also part of Midnight's plan. She was going to be his queen, apparently. And she's the reason why there's a shortage of food and medication in Lockhaven, and also in the other cities as well. She and other agents of Midnight have done this to weaken them. I'm guessing that's why she killed Rand as well. And tried to kill him. Gwendolyn hides him behind a painting, so no one will find him. So the two mice, they shoot arrows at her and kill her, but they realize too late that she had and then not a picture, but how is it? What's the word? Let's say she had a pitcher of poison with her. They see there's a bit of poison on, the surface. So they think, we're doomed. She poisoned our water. Back on the surface, Kalina hears something from outside, and it's the owl. He's right there, listening in on them, trying to... he's going to attack them. So things are really looking very bad. What's his name? No, sorry if you hear any coughing. Excuse me. Kalina, right, where were we? We were with Kalina. Yeah, so they have the owl. Back with Sadie, Kanzi, and Saxon, they found this bucket, a wooden one, and so they're going, going down that river. Oh, and in Kansas and Saxon's and his mentor's sword, his mentor had a compass, so that was pretty cool. They keep following, and they're still going by the compass. They're still headed towards Lockhaven, and on the way they see Abigail's body floating, and they're like, "How did you end up in here? Who killed you?" And they get to right where their well is. The well where they get water, the structure, and they notice there's a hole in there. They, they move their little boat inside, makeshift boat, and they start yelling, and there are mice there. They get ropes and they pull them out of there, and that's where they learn about Abigail, how she betrayed them. And you can see that they have ice, like little ice. They took ice from outside and they were melting it so they would have water. But now they don't have to do that since the river, since it's connected to a river, poison isn't going to do anything. Because it keeps flowing. It won't, they'll be okay. So then the three ask, how is Rand? So Rand is weak, but it looks like the poison hasn't got him. He's going to heal. So they ask, wait, where are Liam and Kalina? And Gwendolyn looks at them, and Gwendolyn's there too, and she says, they haven't returned yet. And all the three of them like, what? But it's been, because it looks like about 4 days have passed since then. So Kanzi and Saxon hurry to the Harras, and the lady, the mouse lady that leads the Harras, and they ask them to divert from their current mission to escort a leader, and to help them find Kalina and Liam. So while they're on their way, Liam has been fighting. Him and Kalina have been fighting the owl. It dug in, it grabbed Kalina. It started to fly with him, but Liam managed to jump on him, and he crawls and he starts to hit him with his sword, making the owl fall, and not being able to fly anymore. Liam falls off of him. He doesn't manage to grab the feather in time, but he lands and his cape is caught on the branch. He does fall into the snow, but he's mostly okay. And then Kalina gets up again, and he starts to fight the owl again, but the owl kills him. He grabs him and closes his beak on him. Oh, poor Kalina. And Kalina is the Black Axe. I should have mentioned that earlier. A legendary warrior in myth among the mice. So obviously, this more than upsets Liam. Because he sees his mentor being murdered by the owl. And that's, Liam grabs his sword and he kills the owl. And he goes at him. First he shoves the sword out right up and under his beak, then into his leg. And then the owl falls and Liam goes behind him, goes to Kalina, takes his axe, this one, and right on the owl's head, and that's it. No more owl. Well, we go back to the Harras. They agree to help, and they all go to where the owl is. But they don't see Liam or Kalina. But then, they follow footprints, and they see that Liam's carrying Kalina on him, and the feather that he got from the owl, and the axe. But he trips and he falls. Kanzi and Saxon run to him. They take each one holds one of them, and they can clearly see that Kalina is dead. We go back to Lockhaven. They return to Lockhaven. They help Liam down. They get Kalina off. Saxon and Kanzi, they're unloading everything. And Kanzi tells Saxon, there's too many eyes here. Take the axe behind the painting. They fill them in on what happened. Gwendolyn, they call her. She comes. And she asks, what has happened? So Kanzi fills her in. He says she's above them. He says, Liam has killed an owl, but Kalina is dead. So all of that, in the end, they sort of, the owl was killed, but no more Kalina. Then they have a funeral for Kalina in their own style. They burn his body, and they have a whole ceremony. We find out that apparently Saxon, the lady who he's been in love with, is Gwendolyn. I was like, well, hello. Now, something else I need to mention. Only a small group knows the Kalina is Black Axe. And also, I found that funny when they returned with him. Someone said, "Oh, so that's how you pronounce his name. I thought it was Selena." I wonder if David Petersen got comments about that, and that's why he added that part in. Because I was also not sure how to pronounce that. And I was like, "Oh, okay." There was a confirmation. Yes. So only Sadie, Rand, Gwendolyn, Liam, Kenzie, and Saxon, only they know that he's the Black Axe. No one else knows. And you can see them, talking about it, how he dies. Rand's like, I thought he was supposed to be immortal. And Saxon says, no mouse is immortal. And Sadie and Kenzie also talk as well. Now, while they're doing that, Saxon kneels before Gwendolyn. He's like, my lady, he actually stutters. Saxon stutters. He says, my lady Gwendolyn, I've been to hell and back, literally. I need to know that there's more than this to everything. And Gwendolyn kisses him. I was like, okay. Then there's that. And I guess mice don't really, well, obviously mice don't kiss, but that was cute. Right, and then the end, Liam, we see flashbacks of how Kalanot told Liam, because when the owl attacked them at first, after he found them, he said, this is going to end in death. And it did. The owl died, and Kalanot did. And he tells that to Liam. This was going to end in death. I knew that from the beginning. But Liam said, you didn't have to be the one to die. And Kalanot says, I did, for the greater good. For you, Liam. You are now the Black Axe. And that's how it ends. And then we have the epilogue, which, like in the first one, is Gwendolyn narrating. How she meets with the other leaders. They have their meeting. They discuss things. How they're going to, to share more information. They're now going to keep a stock of food and medication in Lock Heaven as well, just in case. And we see that, and we also see Liam going down to the catacombs, to the libraries, gathering not information, but going to a certain nook and getting a book and looking through things. I think those were Kalanot's things, I believe. Because in the first volume, at the end, in the epilogue, he's also down there looking for stuff. I think that might be his stuff, really. But I'm not certain. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, Grandma. Alright, where was I? It's hard to film it in the living room sometimes. Alright, okay. Now, while she continues, and now she goes on to talk about, what happened with Saxon. Yeah, she thought there wouldn't be more to... she didn't want anything more than what she had, but after the thing with Saxon, she's now going to leave an heir, a successor. So I wonder if it means... She's not planning to leave her position or anything, but I do wonder what she means. Does she mean that she and Saxon will have a little baby mouse? And that's why she'll have to leave? Not sure. Sadie and Kenzie now gotten a lot closer. They're down there doing repairs on the hole that's in their well. And also, as they're doing it, we see a weasel with a bat on his paw, hanging upside down. So, I wonder if that's who's been living down there. All right, and as she's narrating about what happened with Saxon goes into her office, into her study, and he has a dress in there. It's a very lovely dress. I wonder if he asked that to be made for her. or not. Anyway, it's very sweet. He leaves it on her table with a little note with her first with the letter of her first name on it. And then he sees that the painting that's apparently the hidden door is open. That's where he left the axe. And he sees that the axe is gone. And then I think he goes to the window and you can see that Liam is leaving. He's leaving leaving Lockhaven with the axe. Because now he is the Black Axe. And that's it. That's how it ends. Oh wait, 30 minutes. Oh, it's been a long one. My throat's gonna kill me later. Alright, so that was very cool. Admittedly, it took me a little between the first part until I finally got back to fully reading this. So maybe I said some of the things in the beginning I said incorrectly. But overall, though, this was so enjoyable. I loved reading this. It was so cool. See all the other new places. But it's so sad with Kalinaw. That's a very interesting mouse. I'm sad that he's gone now. And it's also sad with Liam. Because Gwendolyn also says in the epilogue how he came to them with so little, but he's lost even more since he joined the guard. And she wants to make him a leader. And going to give him his own tender paw. Which in their language, is his own rookie to teach. But, she won't get to do that anymore because Liam left. Alright, now let's get to the art. I'll show you all the mice. And my throat. And I won't show all of it, but I will show some. So there we go. That's Kanzi. That's Sadie. That's Saxon. Over there. Mr. Petersen has a very cool art style. As you can see here. There's a couple of places where it might not look the best, but I really like it. Overall, it's very, very nice. I won't show you too much of this just in case. There's where poor Liam falls into the river. Wet mouse. You can see the great collars, great expressions on the mice's faces as well. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's the place where they are. Over here, you can see it. Yeah, I'll show just a bit more. I mean, this is not new, but just in case. Oh, I get shit for it. Oh, also, I wanted to, before I forget to mention this, apparently David Petersen has a YouTube channel where he talks about Malsgard. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description if you want to check that out. I didn't know. My friend looked, and it turns out that there was supposed to be a movie. They were going to make a Malsgard movie, which is really cool. But they didn't end up doing it in the end. It was canceled. They did start in 2019, so, a year before the plague. So, yeah, that idea got... which is a shame, because this would have made a very, very good a fantasy movie. Or, like a... Yeah, this would have been good for that. Oh, and there's the owl. Yeah, there's the owl over there. That's it. That eye is gone, man. Nice hit, Sadie. There we go. He's flying away. Well, that's it. I won't show that much more just in case. Oh, but I'll show you... Okay, a little glimpse of the dress, though. That's very pretty. I wonder if Saxon went and had that specially made for Gwendolyn. There's a map. There we go. Oh, and there's a bit. Oh, that's the place over. I'll still leave it where I said I would, but yeah, Dark Heather, I think that's how you pronounce it. See, that's where Saxon fell into. Quite the place, isn't it? And there, like, oh, and there's all the positions and all the mice rolls. It's very cool. Look at all these unique costumes. It's very nice. Oh, and now we got a couple of pinups in here as well. Sorry, that moved a bit. Look at that, that's really cool. That's nice. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, yeah, I always forget to show this in hauls because, well, I fucking hate dust jackets, but I'll show you it here. So this is without the dust jacket. It's pretty, it's nice. You know, it is winter. And that's the back. There's the publisher there, Archaia. Yeah, I won't put the dust jacket back on now. Oops, wait. There we go. Yeah, so that was Mouse Guard 2. Very nice and also really, really sad in the end of it. But I enjoyed it like I did the first one. I do have the third one, so I'll get to that one as well. I don't know when, but we'll see. I don't think they're connected. It's gonna be... the next one's called Black Axe, so I don't know if they're connected. It might be a different story already, but who knows? I'll find out when I do. Oh, alright, I'll finish now because my throat's really killing me. Alright, so let me know if you read this one, the Mouse Guard. What did you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Have you read maybe something else in the Mouse Guard universe? And that is it. Till next time, remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye.